Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video and welcome back to another episode of my Planet Coaster 2 Wolfspire Park series, in which I am creating my very own theme park from scratch. Now this is the penultimate episode now, so we're getting towards the end of it, and yeah, I need your help with what you want me to do after this series. Like, what theme park, what sort of rides do you want to see? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, that is what I'm doing now. As you can see, I've gone back to the ride I started making in the last episode because I forgot to make a sign and a name for it. So you'll just see me doing that now, and I did decide on the name Pegasus for this ride. It means sea in Greek, I do believe. I can't exactly remember, but I think that's what it means. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the sign, and with that ride is completely finished. I think it's not one of my favourites, and like, this series isn't the only time I'm playing this game. I play it a lot outside of this series, and there is a lot I've learned from playing this game so much. I've got well over 100 hours on it now, and yeah, looking back on this to edit it, there's just so many things I would change. Like, this park isn't great in my opinion. However, I've started it and I want to see it through now, so I'm sticking with it until the end. We're nearly there now, but yeah, I think the next series I do on this game will be a lot better in my opinion. Just because, yeah, I think it's certainly a game you need to play a lot to learn all the little tricks that there is, and the more you get used to the pieces in the game, the better things you can build. Like these little benches here I made, just look really nice. Well fitting with the theme in. I thought I needed some sort of bench area for guests to sit down, and then I even decided to make these pillars which would have lights and speakers on them, because they just add a little bit more to the realism of the park. This isn't a crazy realistic park, that's not what I wanted to do with it, but yeah, stuff like this, I do like to have a little bit more realism in it, not make it entirely unbelievable. Anyway, in this episode I will be making the third and final coaster. There will be another flat ride in the next episode, but as coasters go, this one in this episode will be the final one I make in this series. Anyway, before I get on to that coaster I was talking about, I decided to make another food area just to sort of thin crowds out, because we had one big one and then one smaller one, so I thought the final area of the park could also do with one, sort of to help deal with capacity. It won't be the final one. I do make another area for food and drink in the next episode, which, may I just say, is by far my favourite area, or my favourite episode is the last one, at least in terms of what I make. I think it is by far the best for me, which makes sense because of how much I've learned in this time. And as you can see, this cafe area, I've decided to call it the Zeus Cafe, and I did decide to make it a 2-story building. The pathing and making this building was a bit more complex than other ones, but I think I made it work. yeah, I stuck with the same ancient Greek theming for this building with the marble walls and those pillars, and I sort of added these decorations in beams, patterns all over the place to add in some more colour, because I wasn't liking how it was looking with just the plain white walls. That's something else I've learned. A lot of buildings and structures and whatever can be elevated quite a lot by adding in loads of little patterns and colours and stuff. Just adds another layer of detail to the building, which usually helps out a lot. And yeah, something else I'm doing here, I wanted to add in sort of supports to make the path area elevated, make it look a bit more realistic, like it was more supported. So I added in this extra layer of beams around the platform. I don't have to do anything, just look nice. Again, add another layer of detail to it. And I did want to add even more to it, so I put those banners around the place, and I then decided to make a roof to it. I think it makes it look a lot better. I kind of wish I did this with the temple food court I added at the beginning, because looking back on that now, I do not like it too much without that roof on. So I just think the roof adds more to it. Again, makes it look even more supported, I guess. More like an actual building would. And I did obviously go with the mythology theme walls. And again, another extra layer of realism. I put in fences on the elevated paths. Just because otherwise it looked like guests could just wander off and die. Now, you should know by now, but one of my favourite parts of this game is plants. So once again, we're back adding more plants around that cafe, because I wanted to sort of make it shielded a bit more from the coaster I'm about to add in, which I did have a theme in mind before I started building this. You'll find that out later though, so if you've got any early guesses, let me know in the comments below. Don't cheat, make sure I put it in now. But I did decide to make this a more thrill coaster. We had a family coaster with the Gorgon, and then we had a slightly more thrill ride with Pegasus. And now I wanted to add in a launch coaster that had a few inversions in. Probably the most difficult coaster to make out of all the ones in the park. Launch coasters are always a bit more difficult for me to make, I think. They're just a lot more rough, and inversions are not my friend in this game. I wish. Anyway, here's a little quick POV of it going now. I think that inversion there, it's alright until you get to the end. And then that one there's a bit choppy, but again, not awful. Quick turns are alright. I do like that airtime hill there. And then we get to this segment where it begins to stall a bit. Still going into it, and then we're back round to the end of that line. Now it was straight on to theming. I won't reveal the name of it till the end though. I got pretty good ratings, but excitement and fear nearly into the green, I did believe. But the nausea rating was in the green, so I'm pretty happy with that. And here we go now. I found these wing decorations, which I decided to add onto the coaster. Maybe if you know Greek mythology, you can now take a little guess at what I decided to theme the coaster around. You may have thought the cafe gave you a little hint, the Zeus cafe, but no, it does not. Or maybe it does, I don't know, unless there's some secret link to it. I then went around theming the station. Again, not my favourite theming station, but I do think it's one of the better themed rides in the park. Obviously the actual coaster, it being a launch coaster, makes it slightly more difficult to theme. So I mainly focused on the station for this one, just adding trees around the track and other parts. But I decided to make the station raised up and it appear higher than it actually is by adding a ton of rocks around the base, and as you'll see in a minute, I added some around this of the station, and instead of using fences around the queue line, I decided to make it all rocks, which may have been a good idea, may not have been a good idea, because it now is very much one colour, which I'm not entirely a fan of. I do try to change it later, but yeah, it's not the best in my opinion. Definitely a lot I could have done to improve it, but again, not awful, so I won't complain too much. And yeah, rocks are my second favourite thing in this game, only behind plants. And yet even more theme into the station now. I started adding in these clouds around it. I do add some more around the queue line and even the launch, but you'll see that in a minute. And by now you may be able to guess the theming for this level. I did decide to add in some theming around the launch. I know I said I couldn't do much with the coaster, but this launch really was the only section I could do something. So I decided to keep it in theming with the station by adding in some rocks and some clouds. I do later put some trees and bushes around there, all sort of in with the theming. Yeah, as you can see, I changed the track colour to white supports with a golden track. I think it looks pretty good. And yeah, what I was just talking about, adding in the plants. I decided to go with these white ones because they went into well theming with the clouds, but I do add in some colourful ones. I also added some smoke around the launch and the station section, as well as some torches, so it looks even nicer at night time. I did add the clouds in the queue line, as you will have just seen. But yeah, with that, this ride was pretty much done, and I did decide to name it Pegasus after a winged horse in Greek mythology. So let me know what you think of this coaster, and let me know what you think of this theme park as a whole so far. As I said, it is coming to the end now, so also let me know what you want to see in the next part, and here is a quick little POV of the ride. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.